Welcome to This Explainer. I want you to imagine, just for a second, standing at the edge of a vast, completely unmapped territory. That territory is our society's future. So how do we navigate it? Well, in public administration, we sit down and we draw a beautiful map. And that map is called planning. Today, we're going to take our time, walk through this vital concept step by step, and really unpack how these maps are made.
Now, every good map needs a legend. Our simple three-step journey today covers, first, what is planning? Second, the features of planning. And third, the 8-step process. Okay, let's dive right into this. Section 1, what is planning?
At its absolute core, planning is the vital bridge connecting two very important points. On one side, we have where we are now, and on the exact opposite side, we have where we want to be. Think of it as drawing a distinct, careful line on a map, from your starting point all the way to the treasure you're seeking. Because without this bridge, organizations and governments, they're just wandering aimlessly. They're just hoping they accidentally end up somewhere good. Planning is exactly what gives that journey real purpose and direction. There's a key thinker in this space named John Millett, and he actually captures this perfectly. He says, planning is a process of determining the objectives of administrative effort and devising the means calculated to achieve them. It's a bit of a mouthful, but it beautifully highlights two critical things. First, you're setting the destination. Those are the objectives. And second, you're charting the physical route to actually get there. Those are the means. You absolutely need both of these things to have a successful journey.
So, by formal definition, planning is the conscious determination of future actions, policy formulation, and resource allocation to achieve public goals efficiently within constraints. Now, I know that can sound very academic, very textbook, but let's anchor this right in your everyday life. This definition right here, this is the exact reason why the roads you drive on are properly repaired. It's how local infrastructure gets expanded to handle a growing neighborhood. It's how public health services are funded and distributed to the people who need them the absolute most. It's simply the conscious, deliberate choice of how to use our limited resources to build a much better tomorrow for everyone. Now, keeping with our theme, our map covers a few different types of terrain. In fact, there are 3 main types of planning in the public sector. First, you have economic planning. This looks at assessing and distributing an entire nation's resources. Then there's development planning. This is the grand, long-term vision for the social and economic growth of a whole country. And finally, administrative planning, which is what we really focus heavily on. This is the day-to-day management. It's drawing up the actual operations, figuring out exactly what personnel and materials are needed to get things done right there on the ground. Moving right along to Section 2, the features of planning.
But before we reveal the core ingredients here, I really want to pause and pose a question directly to you. What makes a good public plan actually work? Seriously, if you were tasked with building a massive bridge over an incredibly wide river, what elements would you absolutely need in your blueprint to ensure it doesn't just collapse? Just think about that for a second, because the answers to that question are the exact features we're about to explore.
All right, let's walk through these 7 features nice and steadily. You can think of these as your compass, the foundational rules of the road for any public administrator. Number 1, planning is goal-oriented. It absolutely must aim to achieve a specific public mandate. Number 2, it is the primary function. You literally cannot organize or direct a team until you actually have a plan in place. Number 3, it's pervasive. That means it happens at all levels of government, from the top ministries all the way down to local offices. Number 4, it is an intellectual and rational process. It relies on cold, hard facts and sound judgment, never just guesswork. Number 5, it's future-focused, always anticipating what's coming next. Number 6, it is continuous, because as we all know, our world is dynamic and it's constantly changing. And finally, number 7, it is efficiency-driven. It's all about making the absolute best use of highly limited financial and human resources. Now, what's really fascinating here is seeing how certain core principles actually drive those features. Take commitment and flexibility, for example. Good planning requires a firm commitment of resources. You have to pledge the money, you have to bring in the experts to make the plan work. But at the exact same time, you have to maintain flexibility. Why? Because you will inevitably encounter unexpected roadblocks. A beautifully drawn map is completely useless if the road ahead is suddenly flooded out, right? So, you need the reflective thinking to commit to the goal, but the flexibility to change your route whenever efficiency demands it. Which brings us to Section 3, the 8-step process. We like to frame these first 4 steps as charting the course. Step 1 is establishing objectives. This means very clearly defining what the administration aims to achieve and doing it in measurable terms. Step 2 is developing premises. Essentially, this means creating forecasts about the future environment. Predicting things like population growth or economic shifts that are going to affect your plan down the road. Step 3 is identifying alternatives. This is the brainstorming phase, looking at all the different roads we could potentially take to reach our objective. And step 4 is evaluating those alternatives. This is where we carefully analyze the cost-benefit ratio, the social impact, and the actual feasibility of each possible path, all before we make a single move. So, if the first 4 steps were charting the course, these final 4 steps are all about walking the path. Let's move to step 5, which is selecting the best course from all those alternatives we just evaluated. Step 6 is formulating derivative plans. This is where you create the vital subplans, the specific departmental budgets, and the highly detailed schedules. Step 7 is implementation. This is the big one, where we finally allocate resources, assign responsibilities, and put the actual plan into action. And crucially, step 8 is follow-up and review. You can't just set it and forget it. We are constantly checking the map, monitoring our progress against our benchmarks, and course-correcting if our actual results start drifting away from our expected outcomes. And there you have it. We've successfully mapped the entire journey today, from defining what planning is all the way to walking those 8 crucial steps. But before we go, I want to leave you with a slightly more advanced, really provocative thought to ponder, drawn straight from our sources. Look at these 8 steps. Do they align more with a rational comprehensive model or incrementalism? I mean, when a government meticulously plans every single detail up front, is it truly acting comprehensively? Or does the messy reality of our ever-changing world force administrators to plan incrementally, just making small, continuous adjustments along the way? Think about how this beautiful map we've drawn today connects to those much broader administrative theories of how our incredibly complex world is managed. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. Keep exploring these ideas, and I will see you next time.